Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We've gotten a nice bounce here all the way back up to the 2473s. Price got a nice hold here. That was our extreme reversal pattern we talked about. That impulse move from that leg to finding this low suggested a bounce into 2460 at the very least to complete this key range. So now this is our new key range to watch here. It's 2430 quarter at the bottom, 2488 half on top here, and 2459 half basically right there in the middle. And that's our new key range here. You're likely going to see a little bit of development here. We could just push right on through. There's a couple of ways this can go. Last time we formed this exact type of pattern here. This thing just went straight through highs beyond those previous highs here, and then held for a couple of months before it rallied again. So right now we have this key range that we work off of. Any test of the bottom, a failure would be a big time buying opportunity up. Up here near these highs, there could be a continuation. That's the most likely case, but also a rejection which would target the midpoint and the bottom as well. So we'll watch this for various plays as it continues to develop. For today's market, right now we're holding right at the previous month's close. On an intraday basis, we kind of have an intraday key range that you can follow for the session. So looking at this on an intraday basis here, you can kind of see this is the overnight low after hours low, a rally back up to the high. Then you get a pullback to the mid here. That's a nice impulse leg there that gives you some great boundaries to work off of the rest of the session. Overall, the market continues to be bullish after the recent near-term bounce, but pullbacks need to be defended. Weekly VWAP down here, 2462, very important because if there's any rejection up here, you likely come back to that level for a retest. All right, let's take a look here at crude. Crude oil has been trending downward here. This was interesting the previous session. Again, we were watching for cues to see how it was going to behave. We knew some of the key levels, and one thing we realized early on was that crude had rejected the previous session's high and was approaching much lower, and that gave us an indication that perhaps 47.65 is off the books in terms of a buy. So we pulled that yesterday in the trading room. And now we can see prices push through it, currently making it resistance here to begin the day. So quite a bit of weakness here that we've seen in crude. If you'll remember here, going back to this view, we have kind of an upper trend line here off that channel high, and this little rejection here is significant. So with price pushing back below 48s, this first move down will be important. If it's a nice decent move downward toward 47s perhaps, the next bounce could be a great selling opportunity for perhaps a push back toward 43.76 if this is going to reject. So 47.65 is still a key pivot, though I wouldn't look to defend it either way right now. Just use it for directional purposes. Looking at gold right here, gold has already rejected yet again. This is the same type of behavior that happened last time where it aggressively reversed already without coming up and trying again. Very interesting. What we were looking at yesterday in the trading room here was just a failed new low, and price had popped up a little bit. It was testing 1290s. It was looking bullish, but really didn't have the oomph that you would want to see on a failed new low. It was not rejection and a clean squeeze and a continuation. It was just kind of holding there, and that was kind of a precursor to that the fact that failed new low may actually not work out, and indeed we may pull back some more. And so you can see today we have extended that move down back to the previous month's close. Here we are. Again, there's a clear trading range right there, right? 1210 to 1200 up to about 1300. That's the zone. This rejection here is significant. Again, as I always mention, any pullback or shakeout leg that comes could be a great entry for 1250. That's going to be value, because if you're looking at rejection here, then you return price to value. And if that occurs and that plays out the way you expect, then you look to continue to push that price across the range to the opposite side. So continue to watch this for rejection. Lastly, looking at the NQ here, there is a nice little impulse move here that you can mark very close to how the ES looks here with this bounce. However, we're still working off this larger key range, and it's still just fine. So, and the fact that price continues to hold right at that upper level is very interesting. Right now, you can see kind of a pattern here of lower highs. So this is very interesting behavior right now. I would say 59.50 is very important. That's the FOMC key level, is 42.75. That's from June 26th. And you can see every time price has been above it, it's been offered. Above it, offered. Above it, offered. Above it, offered. So right now, you can see who's positioned where. Bears are defending, which tells you also that there's buy stops above. So buy stops clearly above 59.50. Right now, 59.50 is rejection. You can kind of see lower highs. Additionally, 59.07 half, 59 evens. That little 50-point range right there is very important, because above it starts to squeeze and run those upside buy stops, and below it, again, opens up a push to new lows within this channel. That likely gets you 57.29 this time around. So watch this zone right here, very important. We could be headed to 57.29 or above 59.50, could start to squeeze those buy stops. We're right at that zone, so a very nice pivot here to watch in the NQ. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.